What is going on, everybody? My name is Eric Brown Jr., and today I'm going to be talking to you about Eric Brown Creative. This class has been really, really amazing, learning all the things I've been learning about starting a business and running a business and kind of orchestrating and organizing everything, really, to make life a little bit easier when it does come to either launching or starting or improving on that business that we already have in place. Before we get started, let me give you a little background on myself. 28 years old, almost going to be 30 here shortly, and I was born in San Diego. My dad was in the Navy, and I grew up in about half my childhood in Northeast Ohio, and the other half in San Diego, California. Um, once my father got out of the military, he opened up a chain of barbershops in Northeast Ohio. So I always grew up um, in a barbershop. And once he also opened up some barbershops, he also bought some more property and turned those into beauty salons as well. And then my mother, after she had me and my sister, she actually worked inside those barbershops and those beauty salons as a nail technician. So I always kind of, even from a very young age in my life, had always seen what it looked like for my parents to work for themselves. And even on my uncles, they either own mechanic shops. I have another uncle that owns a flooring business. And so I've always just admired people who decide to go into work for themselves. And it was one of the coolest things that I think growing up as a kid, was knowing that my parents were their own bosses. And it's one of those things that I've really taken with me, and one of those things that I've wanted to always emulate as I became an adult. I joined the Navy right out of high school. I did 4 years. I got in, I got out, and then once I got out of the Navy, I took a little bit of break. I had taught myself Photoshop and graphic design and photography while I was in the Navy and a little bit afterward. And so it was always something that I really, really enjoyed. Whenever I would go into businesses or I would see ads in magazines and things like that, I would always stop and I would always look through the pages and go, wow, that's cool. Or I would analyze why they chose certain things, or why they chose to put this in there, or why they choose to leave things out. So I love design. I love the way businesses communicate a message to a potential customer. And so that was really kind of what gave me the idea to do Eric Brown Creative. So essentially, Eric Brown Creative is a digital content creation company that focuses on providing small businesses with high quality media that they can utilize online to increase sales. Now, here's what our mission statement says. It says, our mission is to ignite the feeling of confidence via quality pieces of content for businesses by integrating great design with impeccable attention to detail, all while being economically friendly and a company that prides itself on customer service. Growing up as a kid, one of my kind of core values that my parents had and they kind of instilled in me and my sister was customer service. You only have a moment to give somebody a first impression. And when someone walks into your business or someone soliciting your business, you really only got one shot to make an impression, to impress them. And so customer service is that one thing that can make or break any business. You can go to a restaurant and you can have the most amazing steak in the world, right? But if you have a bad waiter, or people are unfriendly to you, or they're kind of like standoffish or ignoring you, it can really alter the way you remember that business. It can alter the way you remember that steak that you had, and it may affect what you say or what you tell people down the road if they're asking for recommendations. So it is key, no matter what, that customer service is our main priority. Just the same as something can leave a negative impact on you if you receive bad customer service, receiving great customer service can also leave a lasting impact. You might go somewhere and the service that you get may be so-so or subpar, or you may go somewhere and you go buy a t-shirt at a retail store, and it may not be the greatest t-shirt, or maybe ripped, or something may happen or the other. But if you have somebody who's giving you great customer service, asking what can they do for you, can they grab you a bag, can they start a fitting room for you, and they're walking your things up to the register, telling you about promotions, figuring out ways that you can save money, even though what you bought might not have been a big ticket item or something that would have really adjusted that company's bottom line, you remember that customer service. So within Eric Brown Creative, when we're working with clients and we're trying to create marketing plans and digital marketing media for people and small businesses, providing great customer service is going to be key for us. Now, one of the things that we do is we help small businesses essentially not only come into 2019, but also succeed. A lot of businesses out there, they're operating day to day and they're kind of just struggling along, but there are so many more clients that are online that are younger. We're talking about demographics like millennials and generation Gen Zers that are going to be becoming adults and going to be spending their own money, and they're not going to be spending mommy and daddy's money, and they're spending almost all of their time online in some way, shape, or form. And so being able to reach those people and to communicate the message for the business via a smartphone, via a tablet, whatever it may be, is going to be important. So we're going to focus on some of the big key players in the social media space, which would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. We still do believe that Snapchat is a big player in the social media space, even though it has fallen off as far as industry leader in a few years. There is still a large number of younger users who use Snapchat. And so to give you an example of what we would do, let's say there's a small mechanic shop and they mainly focus on oil changes and smogs. Here in California, getting your vehicle smog is a pain in the butt, but it is something that has to be done if you want to get your car registered here in California, right? So we have a business and they do basic car services, nothing to write home about, but they may be doing a certain number of business. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that they're doing $3,000 in oil changes every single month. But they like to bump that up, but they just don't know how. What our agency would actually do is we would sit down one-on-one with that business owner, and we would figure out what they do on a daily basis, and we would see where they're currently at and where they're trying to get, right? And then so we would tailor a plan specifically for them. So that may be a package that looks like X amount of images, X amount of graphics, and then maybe some videos that we may put together for them for a advertising campaign. And we would utilize literally ads on Instagram, ads on Facebook, ads on Twitter to target specific people in a zip code, so that way we could bring more people into their shop. You know, a lot of people really, for the most part, oil change or smog test is something that has to get done. And so it's one of those things where, what can we do on our end to offer that business value and offer the customer value to bring people into the doors? And customer service is a big thing. And it's not something that we just preach here with our company, but once we have developed a good marketing plan and we've sent people into that business, it's important that that business has great customer service, so they can not only receive that new business, receive that new customer, but they can also retain them. And once we have them targeted specifically, we knew that our ad worked because we would say something along the lines of, if you mention this ad that you got on Instagram from scrolling, you'll get $5 off, $10 off, whatever it may be. Well, if somebody comes in and they says, hey, I saw your ad on Instagram and I got, I have this discount code, that gives us instant gratification. It gives us instant validation that that campaign is working and it's actually doing what we said we were going to do. And so the business, Eric Brown Creative, really isn't too complex. It's just myself currently at the moment, but we do foresee down the road being able to bring other designers onto the team, because I'm just one person. So I may be able to handle anywhere between 2 to 4 clients myself per month, but it's going to get to a point where I'm going to need to be able to bring some more people onto the team so that way they can handle some of the day-to-day operations. And so some of the key hires that I'm going to have in my team for me are going to be an accountant, and it's going to be a social media manager. With social media being one of the biggest ways that we reach out to businesses who are looking for our services, it's going to also be imperative that we ourselves have a good social media presence and that we're communicating to people that we are an industry leader and that we're somebody that can actually provide help to struggling businesses. So yeah, that's essentially me. I've actually been doing this for a little over 6 months now, and I've been able to actually work with some really cool clients. As you can see, if you take a look at my business plan and you scroll down to the bottom, the appendix section, I actually have listed some brands that I've worked with: Chicago, Bank of America, Marathon. I've worked with La Colombe Coffee Roasters, some other restaurants and coffee roasters here in San Diego, and it's really, really fun. I like that it's not so mundane. When I'm doing this specific job, I'm working on essentially something brand new for every single business that I work with. And so it really helps not becoming bored or complacent in what I'm doing. I really enjoy being able to sit one-on-one with a brand or a small business and figure out what's going to be a way to bring them more sales. And that's what I stand by. You know, if you don't see sales go up, if you don't see a benefit from using our services, we don't even want to charge you. That's how much we feel confident in what we're doing and confident in the value that we bring. And yeah, so there you have it. Eric Brown Creative. I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to take this with me as I move through life and finish graduating college here. This is my last semester with Columbia College, and it's been a wild and crazy ride, and I'm so glad to be done. And thank you, Professor, for all your time and for watching this. Okay, take care.